Everyone? Okay. Slide it. All right. Yesterday, we were discussing about a concept called as meta-ethics. And under meta-ethics, what were the things that we discussed? The first one was nature of decision making. All right. Under this, we have two. What are these two? One is intuition. Another one is what? Reasoning. Good. Then we started discussing one more concept. Means and ends. In means and ends, we have two parts. Am I right? We have two parts. One is how I treat another human being. Should I treat another human being as a means for my selfish ends, or should I start treating him as an end in himself? End in himself. That is one thing. Another means and ends is with regards to what? Morality of actions. Here, we judge, we evaluate a certain individual's actions. Am I making my point clear? All of you. I think we basically stopped at this point. Am I right or am I wrong? Look into this. Couple of months ago, there was this news. 34-year wait for justice. Widows fight in 1992. Fake encounter case gets Chhattisgarh High Court push. So there was a fake encounter case in 1992. The police have proved beyond all reasonable doubt it was fake encounter. Am I making my point clear? Whomsoever was responsible, they also have been punished. Am I making my point clear? But what is the major problem? Now the fake encounter has happened. Ever since then, this widow is fighting for money. Am I making my point clear? Remuneration for whatever pain and suffering that she went through. Am I making my point clear? All of you. Do you think fake encounters, when you are judging the morality of actions, do you think fake encounter is right means, or do you believe that ends justify the means in this case? What do you think? I am using fake encounter. Do you think Gandhi would approve of it? Absolutely not. Am I making my point clear? So when you are writing examples, apart from whatever examples are there in your book, you can also include examples which might be in use for some reason or the other. Look into this one. If I have to give you one more example. China and India. Yesterday in the class, I mentioned about Belt and Road Initiative. Am I right? Now, imagine both of these countries are trying to implement family planning programs. Now, in which country there were rules related to family planning? One family, one child. In which country? It was in China. They used that particular means. In India, what was the means that we used? Did we go for one family, one child type of a deal? Or did we invest in health, invest in nutrition, invest in opportunities, and slowly our total fertility rate decreased? What did we do? Did we go for a rule, or was it the second thing? Second thing. Am I making my point clear? Now, I have to judge the morality of actions of India and China. Both of them, what was their end goal? To stabilize what? Population. Very good. The means used by them, were they same or were they different? They were different. Which means you believe is much greater? India. Why do you think it is greater? India's measure is greater. Because if you look at China as of now, they're seeing some sort of demographic winter, or they might see demographic winter soon enough in their country. Am I right or am I wrong? And they took away the free will, they took away the choice. Am I making my point clear? Like this. Imagine, let us say I give you one more example. There are two individuals. Both of them, they come from humble backgrounds. Both of them come from humble backgrounds. The end goal of both of them is to be successful in life. End goal of both of them. One person, he works very hard to get that success, very hard. Another person, he cheats and then he gets that success. Now, if you ask the teleological people, ends justify the means, both of them are good because they have achieved success. If you ask means is of more paramount importance, people, do you think both of them will be judged similarly, or this person will be rated higher? This person, right? Because what was the means that he used? Hard work. He did not use this cheating mentality to succeed in life, to be successful in life. Am I making my point clear? Like this. Now imagine, instead of success, I write here justice. I write here justice. Instead of cheating over here, imagine I write bulldozer justice. The end goal is justice. But the means that I'm using to achieve this justice, is it on the right side of the spectrum or is it on the wrong side? Am I making my point clear? So yesterday I told you, means as well as ends, both of them are important. Howsoever, if someone asks you which is more important, you have to say means is of more paramount importance. Am I making my point clear? Like this. Yesterday, how did you all sleep? How many of you have given UPSC prelims last time around? All right. Anyone who is going to be writing mains this time? One person. Okay. Have you written mains before, madam? This is your first. KS mains. Okay. UPSC, this is your first. Okay. Not a problem. What's your optional subject? PSIR. Good, good, good. So, whomsoever gave the prelims last time around and for some reason you could not crack, let it be. All right. Don't become miserable just because of the results. It will hurt. It will pain. No matter what I say, I can't take that pain away from you. Howsoever, my advice to you is very simple. Understand where you went wrong and try to make the necessary course correction where it is required. And if anyone has given more than 2 to 3 attempts in UPSC without doing any job, without clearing pre at least once, find a job and then prepare for UPSC simultaneously. Don't do all of the things together. Look into this. Another concept based on which you have direct as well as indirect questions every year in your UPSC is about truth. So in meta, one is related to decision, another one is means and ends. The next one is what? Truth. So look into this. What is truth? Whatever is the reality, you're reporting, you're representing the reality in the same way. There is no exaggeration. That is what I call it as truth. Am I making my point clear? Let us say someone asks you, what do you understand by the term truth? Truth is nothing but a value where we represent the reality as we see it without any exaggeration. Am I making my point clear? That is a simple definition of truth. Now if you ask your Gandhi, what is truth? Do you think Gandhi will give an Oxford dictionary definition of truth, or do you think he is going to use some comparison? Gandhi, he equates truth with God. And he is not alone. There are many other individuals who equate truth with God. All of you are following me? So imagine someone asks you a question, what do you understand by truth? Truth is life. Am I making my point clear? Truth is God. Truth is the essence of all humanity. Maybe you can use statements like this and then give a textbook definition of truth. All of you are following me? Look into this. When you are consistently truthful, 24/7, 365 days, what is it that I call then? Then I call you as honest. You might be truthful with me today. You might be truthful with me tomorrow. But day after tomorrow, if you're not truthful, will I call you as an honest individual, or will I call you something else? Something else, am I right? Truth, when you are consistently following it, that is when we call you as an honest individual. All of you are following me? Come back, listen to me. Now this truth, there are some meta-ethical concepts associated with it. First one is universalism versus relativism. Universalism versus relativism. Another concept is objectivism versus subjectivism. You can have direct questions on these concepts, or sometimes it can be indirect. And on the nature of truth, more than ethics, in your essay papers, we use this content a lot. Have you heard of the first essay topic last year? Truth knows no color. All of you are following me? Now, if you look at some of the PYQs on this topic, look into this. The concept of just and unjust is contextual. What was just a year back, may turn out to be unjust in today's context, circumstance. Changing context should be constantly under scrutiny to prevent miscarriage of justice. Examine the above statement with suitable examples. Am I making my point clear? It is based on the concept that we will discuss now. Once I discuss the concept, I will discuss this question as well. Not to worry. All of you are following me? Listen to me. What was this section 377? Any idea? It was related to criminalization of homosexuality. Do you remember it? As of now, section 377, is it going forward or has it been decriminalized? Am I making my point clear? At one point in time, people used to think untouchability was a just system. Do we still consider untouchability as a just system, or have we changed our opinions? Very good. At one point in time, people considered homosexuality as a disease. For example, remember the guy's name. His name is Alan Turing. He is the father, he is considered by some as the father of modern computers. Modern computers. Alan Turing, he was alive during your Second World War. He played a prominent part in UK defeating its enemies during Second World War. But the problem was this. Alan Turing was a homosexual. What happened one time was he was caught having sexual relations with another man. Back in that time period, do you think homosexuality was accepted, or do you think homosexuality was punished? It was punished. So the UK authorities, they catch hold of your Alan Turing. Considering his achievements during Second World War, rather than sending him to jail, they gave him hormonal therapy. You know what is hormonal therapy? They artificially push testosterone. Yes, very good. Now, because of this hormonal therapy, this guy was unable to think the way he was. One of the brilliant minds that humankind has ever seen. Because of this hormonal therapy, he could not think as much as he was at one point in time. Very depressed by this situation, he committed suicide. Am I making my point clear? Homosexuality was criminalized in UK in 20th century. I feel it was the early part of some 2010s. Back then, Queen Elizabeth II was alive. Queen Elizabeth II, she royally pardoned Alan Turing. She even apologized for many people who were persecuted, who were prosecuted because of their homosexual status. Why am I telling you all of these things? Do you think truth associated with justice is going to be same in all context? Context meaning circumstance. Context meaning time. Do you think it is going to be same all the time around, or do you think the truth can change? That is what we are discussing now. Well, if you're following my point, it can change. It's a natural thing. Well, if you're following me, listen to me. Objectivism and subjectivism. They will never ask you, what do you understand by the term moral objectivism and subjectivism? They usually don't ask. But they might ask you some application-based questions on this concept, so please be careful. What does moral objectivism say? It says that truth exists independently of human opinion. Am I making my point clear? Truth exists independently of human opinion. Let us say at one point in time, you had this guy called as Galileo. Galileo gave a theory. What was his theory? Was the theory that Earth is at the center of the universe, or was the theory that Sun is at the center of the universe? So when he said that Sun is at the center of the universe, do you think each and everyone in that particular society congratulated him? Or do you think they started to criticize him? Especially the Catholic Church started to criticize him. Am I right or am I wrong? Just because someone thought it is the Earth which is at the center of the universe, did Sun change his position in the universe? There are certain truths that exist. Here the key term is exist. There are certain truths that exist independently of human opinion. It doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. The truth exists. This is what we call as moral objectivism. Am I making my point clear? In moral objectivism, truth exists independently of human opinion. Whether she believes in gravity or not, that is immaterial. Gravity exists. Am I making my point clear? That is moral objectivism. What is the opposite of moral objectivism? Subjectivism. And what do we say in moral subjectivism? In moral subjectivism, we say truth exists based on individual's opinion. Truth exists based on individual opinion. For example, in this part of the world, we marry one person. Am I right or am I wrong? If you go to certain parts of Himachal Pradesh, one lady, she might have married two people. Am I making my point clear? One lady, she might have married two people. These two people will be brothers. Now, if I go to these couple and I say, you should marry only one person. Will they accept that particular thing or will they have a different opinion? Different opinion. Subjectivism is like that. Truth exists based on an individual's opinion. Am I making my point clear? Some of you might be of a vegetarian diet. Good for you. Some of you might be of a non-vegetarian diet. Good for you. Do we have any objective data to conclusively prove that vegetarian, vegan food is always going to be good for you? No, right? Like this. अर्थात क्लियर नहीं? Imagine in this world you have to navigate so many challenges in this world. Only moral objectivism will help you, or you should have even an idea of moral subjectivism. Imagine I have to navigate various challenges in this world. Should I have knowledge of only moral objectivism or should I have knowledge of even moral subjectivism? Both, right? That is what it is. You should have the ability to identify where truth knows no color because it exists independently. The dignity of an individual must be respected in all situations. Be it in 2026 or be it in 3026, it must be respected. Am I making my point clear? That is what it is. Look at the other one. Moral subjectivism. Homosexuality was considered as wrong at one point in time, but these days we have come to tolerate homosexuality. There is acceptance of homosexuality. Am I making my point clear? You should have a very firm understanding what is the core of your life. You should have a firm understanding what are those things which can change. All of you are following me? And as per time, as per your wisdom, as per your experience, as per your education, you should have the ability to change. You should have the ability to tolerate someone else's opinion. In a country like India, do you think all this billion plus population will believe in one single opinion, or do you think we will have multiple opinions? Subjective opinions will be there. It is a natural part of any big country. How do we deal with this diverse opinion? That is where the real wisdom lies. All of you following my point? Come back, come back, come back. Truth knows no color. Is it an objective statement that they're making, or is it a subjective statement? Truth knows no color. It is same for a Indian, for a Korean, for a Pakistani, whomsoever it might be. Truth knows no color at all. Is it an objective statement or is it a subjective statement that they're trying to make here? Objective, right? You can counter and say, no, truth knows some color based on an individual's opinion, based on a cultural opinion. Like that you can say. Am I making my point clear? There is a very beautiful saying which was given by Saint Augustine. Saint Augustine said, truth is going to be the same even if no one is following it. Am I making my point clear? There are many times we know what is the truth, but we are not practicing it because no one else in the society is practicing it. Saint Augustine says, truth is going to remain the same even if no one is following it. Am I making my point clear? If you take our own Indian constitution, do you think each and every part of Indian constitution is open to subjective interpretation, or there are certain elements of Indian constitution which is going to remain the same no matter what change we see in the situation? What do we call that part? Doctrine of basic structure. Am I making my point clear? Like that. All of you are following? Even after 100 more years, if Indian constitution is surviving, the doctrine of basic structure will be there. Moral objectivism. Moral objectivism says that truth exists independently, irrelevant, immaterial, despite of any person's opinion. All of you are following me? What does moral subjectivism says? Moral subjectivism says that truth exists based on individual's opinion. Am I making my point clear? That's about it. They might not ask you a direct question on this. They might ask you some case study based question, or they might ask you some essay based question. For example, let us say I am designing a case study. Am I making my point clear? In a classroom, during an election time, on a certain issue, let us say it might have been euthanasia, abortion, or whatever it might be, a certain issue, one group of people believed one thing, another group of people believed another thing. All of you following me? Because of the difference in opinion between these two groups, it escalated, the difference escalated into a violence. Now you are someone who is respected by both the group. You are someone who is respected by both the groups. They're calling you to the college. And they're asking you, the college authorities are asking you to have a conversation with everyone who is sitting here with both of the groups and convince them not to change their opinion, but convince them to resolve their issues in a harmonious manner, in a tolerant manner, rather than fighting, rather than using violence. So they might ask you, what are the steps? What are the various advices you will be giving to the groups to help them understand the subjective reality of that issue? Did you understand the case study? And they might give you only one question here. The moment we think of case study, we think of a long one, we think of some 3-4 questions associated with it. But there is every possibility that they might give you a very short case study. Instead of 3-4 questions associated with it, they might just give you one question for 20 marks. Am I making my point clear? You should have the ability to write a 20-mark answer for that case study. Imagine you have gone to a college, two groups are fighting because they have different opinions, they don't understand the subjective reality. How will you convince them? Will you start convincing them by making some legal arguments like how it happens in Supreme Courts or High Courts, or will you try to first understand how they are thinking? Understand how they are thinking. Maybe you are going to take them to certain field where this issue is being discussed. Am I making my point clear? I can teach you all the environment in the class. I am not denying it. But what would be the much better way to teach you environment? To take you to some forest, to take you to some nature-based area and teach you some things. Am I right or am I wrong? First, I need to understand how you're thinking. Second, I want to take you to those places where this issue is in use, so that you can meet people, so that you can understand them, so that you can empathize with them. Am I making my point clear? Maybe then encouraging to have an open, frank and honest conversation where both the groups are present. I am also there, and also people associated with that issue. Am I making my point clear? And in case, again, if there is a difference of opinion, how I and the other person associated with the issue should try to de-escalate the tension and try to encourage honest debate without getting personal. There are n number of steps you can talk about. There is elaboration required for each and every step. Am I making my point clear? Maybe this group has a different opinion compared to the other group because their knowledge on the issue might be limited. Their experience on the issue might be limited. Their exposure to the reality might be limited. Am I making my point clear? Once you get to appreciate all the 360-degree angle of that issue, once you empathize with the people making arguments from the other side, maybe both of you will start appreciating the subjective nature of the reality. Like this. So you need to be ready for all eventualities. They might just give you a case study, just one question associated with the case study, and it will be for 20 marks. So be careful. Am I making my point clear? Did you understand what is objectivism and subjectivism? Objectivism is basically what? Truth exists independently no matter what anyone thinks. What is subjectivism? Truth exists based on an individual's opinion. Now there is one more concept. What is that one more concept? It is universalism. It is universalism versus relativism. Universalism versus relativism. All of you. Look into this. In universalism, the key term is apply. What was the key term in objectivism? Exist. What is the key term in universalism? Apply. In universalism, certain truths apply to everyone. To everyone. What does relativism says? Relativism says certain rules don't apply to everyone because there is differences in the customs of people. There is differences in the culture of the groups. That is what it says. Application. In Kannada, we have a very interesting saying. One kandige benne, innond kandige kanna, kennena kanna. Kannalva? Or kennena? Kannuna? Okay. So if I translate that into English, it is nothing but preferential treatment. Your parents might like your brother, your siblings much more than you. Am I right or am I wrong? There might be a situation. If you are the only child, God bless you. Listen to me, listen to me. Application, moral universalism says that the rules apply to each and everyone without any preferential treatment. Am I making my point clear? Moral universalism states that rules apply to each and everyone. For example, the rule of law that exists in our country, does it apply to me in a different manner and applies to you in a different manner, or is it the same? That is moral universalism. Here I am not trying to understand the existence of the truth. Here truth exists and that truth is applied to each and everyone. All of you are following me? Now here there is another concept called as what? Relativism. For example, you might have heard of Uniform Civil Code. Is it something which is applicable to everyone in the country, or is it applicable only in some selective states? Selective states like what? One is Goa, the other one is what? Gujarat, Uttarakhand. Listen to me. So why is it that Uniform Civil Code is not applied to each and everyone? Because there are differences in our group customs. If you observe the customs in your religion and go and observe the customs in the tribal religion, are they same or are they different? Different. If you observe the customs in Hindu religion and customs in your Islamic religion, are they same or are they different? Different. So what moral relativism says is very simple. Truths cannot apply to each and everyone in a situation because there are differences in the group customs, in the group culture. This is what they say. Am I making my point clear? Have you heard of a document which is called as UDHR? Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Whatever is written in that Universal Declaration of Human Rights, does it apply only to the people living in America, or does it apply to any human being in any part of the world? That is why it is not called as Objective Declaration of Human Rights. It is called as universal because whatever is written there, it applies to each and everyone who is born on this planet as a human being, universally. All of you are following me? Whatever number of students might be here, whatever rules I have in my life, when I am applying all of these rules to each and everyone without any discrimination, am I on the side of universalism or am I on the side of relativism? Universalism. Imagine there was a blind kid. I gave you some 10 minutes to write an answer. Imagine if there was a blind kid, maybe I will give the blind kid a little bit more time. Am I right? Am I making my point clear? Because the challenges the blind kid faces might be more than the other one. All of you are following me? So in that case, writing within 10 minutes as a rule does not apply to him universally. That is relativism. Am I making my point clear? All of you. Your UPSC so far has never asked a question, differentiate between objectivism and subjectivism, universalism and relativism. They have not. But based on this concept, they can ask you indirect questions in essay. And you will be using these type of things. You will be using these type of concepts in your case studies quite regularly, almost each and every case study. So be careful. Most of the times, why is it that many students don't score well in case study? Because they can't apply the concepts that they have studied in section A successfully in section B. Am I making my point clear? So come back. Remember these two concepts, very important. Universalism, the keyword is apply. Objectivism, the keyword is what? Exist. Don't get them confused. All of you are following me? Now let's go to this question. The concept of just and unjust is contextual. Contextual meaning it can change as per the person, it can change as per the circumstance, time. What was just a year back may turn out to be unjust in today's context. Changing context should be constantly under scrutiny to prevent miscarriage of justice. Examine the above statement with suitable examples. This is a PYQ. The moment you are writing an answer for this, let us say in the introduction, how are you going to write? How will you write? Truth, justice, are they always set in stone or they can change as per the circumstances and our experience? What do you think? Am I right? Truth, justice and other values, they may not necessarily be set in stone. It can change as per our change in knowledge, our change in experience. Maybe this you can write in your introduction. Or else what you can do? You can give some opinion, you can give some quote. Look at this one. Oliver, he has given a very famous quote. The life of the law has not been logic. It has been experience. What was my experience 1 year ago? What is my experience as of now? Will it be the same or it might be different? It might be different, right? So for this question, the concept of just and unjust is contextual. You can write this particular quote in the introduction. The above quote beautifully captures the dynamic nature of certain values like justice. More than enough. Artha agtide tane? More than enough. All of you are following me? Look into this one. The screenshot I have taken from Stanford Encyclopedia related to ethics, related to philosophy. Now, what was considered justice during Aristotle time? What is considered justice in the present 21st century? Do you think it is going to be the same or do you think it differs? All right. So, using this, I can give an introduction. Aristotle's understanding of justice compared to John Rawls' understanding of justice is quite different. The difference can be explained based on contextual factors like time, circumstance, knowledge. Am I making my point clear? And experiences. All of you are understanding my point? Simple enough. Artha agtide tane? Look into this question. What is the directive in this question? What is the directive in this question? Examine, right? It's not elucidate, explain, discuss. It is examine. And some of you might have doubt how to write an answer for a question where they've given you the directive. Examine. How will you write an answer? Do you remember I gave you the example of a guy called as Alan Turing? I did not do it just like that. Why did I give an example of Alan Turing? Look into this. Whenever they're giving you the directive, examine. Either in the introduction or in the body of the answer, you have to explain the meaning behind it. So what I will do, I've already given the introduction. When I go to the body of the answer, I will give the example of which fellow? Alan Turing. Using Alan Turing as an example, I will try to simplify the meaning of the just and unjust question. All of you are following me? Homosexuality was considered as a crime. It was considered as unjust. But fast forward couple of decades, it is accepted. It is considered as just in certain parts of the world. Am I right or am I wrong? All of you are following me? Simple enough. Artha agtide tane? What will be the next thing that I am going to write? I am going to write supporting arguments. The concept of just and unjust is contextual. I have to write supporting arguments for it. Human understanding of any issue, does it remain static or dynamic? Dynamic. So as per the changes in our knowledge, our understanding of the reality changes. That's one supporting argument. The second supporting argument, the challenges that we are facing in 21st century and the challenges which was faced in 20th century, were they same or were they different? It was different, am I right? So because of the change in experiences and challenges, the concepts become contextual, the concepts become dynamic. All of you are following me? And we should constantly change to be a better human being. This prejudice that people have in society, imagine we are not targeting this prejudice. Imagine everything is going on just like that, just like that. We are not targeting this prejudice. Will we live in a just world or will it be an unjust world? Unjust, right? The supporting arguments to deal with the existing prejudice, to deal with the existing inhumane behaviors, inhumane systems. The concept of justice must change accordingly. If you remember Article 21, when Constitution was drafted, it was written what? Procedure established by law. Now, as the time progressed, was it procedure established by law or did we come across due process of law? Right? In which case? Like that. There is an inherent tendency in all of us to be better. That is why our understanding of concepts changes. We increase our knowledge. That is why concepts change. Our experience changes. That is why concepts change. Whatever existing inhumane things are there in the society, it might be patriarchy, neo-patriarchy, neo-colonialism, whatever it might be, the challenges, the prejudices, we want to deal with them effectively. Am I making my point clear? That is why again the concept of just and unjust changes. Artha agtide taane? All of you. Simple enough. But here, look at the other one. There should be counter arguments as well. Counter arguments. If every time we keep changing the definition of justice, if every time we keep changing the definition of truth, will there be stability in the society or will it become unstable? Unstable. So you need to identify what are the core aspects of justice. Arthat tireta what are the core aspects of justice which should remain the same today, tomorrow and forever? All of you are following me? The core aspects of justice. What are the core aspects of justice as per you, which is same no matter what the context might be? Dignity for everyone, correct. Fair treatment of each and everyone, rule of law. Am I making my point clear? Arthat tireta ne? Reasonable opportunity to lead a dignified life. All of you are following me? So identify certain aspects of justice which do not change as per the context. It is going to remain the same no matter the time, no matter the experience. Am I making my point clear? And then you can give a balanced conclusion in the last part of your answer. Will I be just giving arguments or will I be giving examples as well? Examples as well. Maybe you can bring uniform civil code, maybe you can bring doctrine of basic structure, maybe you can bring untouchability, homosexuality. At one point in time, women were not allowed to enter into Indian Armed Forces. Now they are getting leadership roles as well. Am I making my point clear? Like this. Artha tireta ne? Simple enough. Whenever they give you an examine-based directive, this is the structure that you are expected to follow. What kind of balanced conclusion will you give? What kind of balanced conclusion will you give? Justice has its core part, which is going to remain the same eternally, but at the same time, it demands eternal vigilance to change, to be dynamic as per evolving experiences. Can I say that? Come back. Let me give you a balanced conclusion once more. Justice, the core concept of justice remains the same. However, we need to be eternally vigilant to change some aspects of justice as per emerging situations, and evolving experiences. All of you following my point? Simple enough. Did you understand this question? Many people call this one of the most difficult questions to answer in UPSC. It's not necessarily a difficult thing. All of you following my point? It's quite simple. It's quite easy. Artha agtide taane? Come back. Look at the next concept in your meta-ethics. It is associated with happiness. You have direct questions on this happiness asked in your UPSC essay papers as well as your ethics paper. Look at the question that they've asked here. Look at the question that they've asked. All human beings aspire for happiness. Do you agree? What does happiness mean to you? Explain with examples. All human beings aspire for happiness. Do you agree? What is your understanding of this? You agree? Yes. What does happiness mean to you? Explain with examples. That is the last two parts you can address in your body of the answer. The first part, you can say, happiness is a state of well-being, is a state of contentment. No matter what activities any individual does, the ultimate goal is to achieve some form of happiness. Am I making my point clear? Maybe you can write that in your introduction. All of you are following me? In the body of the answer, now they are asking you, what does happiness mean to you? Now, do you think happiness, as per Aristotle, was enjoying the materialistic pleasures of life, or was it eudaimonic happiness? So you have to say, what does happiness mean to you? Happiness means that I have a purpose in my life. I have a goal in my life. Happiness means there is a meaning in my life. I know why I'm waking up each and every day. I know what kind of value I'm adding not only to my life but also to others. Purpose, meaning, quality of relationships. Am I making my point clear? Curiosity, learning things. What does happiness mean to you? Here you bring your own originality. For some people, happiness is traveling. Because when they are traveling, they might self-introspect. You know what is self-introspection? Understanding who you are, analyzing your actions. For some people, happiness is reading books. Why is it that they find happiness while they are reading books? Because they are knowing more. When they know more, they feel a sense of achievement. Am I right or am I wrong? You guys agree with me? Everyone wants happiness, but the way each and everyone wants to achieve happiness, it might be different. One destination, multiple routes. Some people want happiness by acquiring power, wealth and fame. Am I making my point clear? This is hedonic happiness. Some other people want to achieve happiness through which methodology? By having a purpose in life, by having a meaning in life, by having quality relationships, by enjoying each and every experience that life has to offer. Why is it that most of the times I tell my students in the 20s, you have to give few years to competitive examination, not the whole of 20s. If you give whole of 20s to competitive examination, you cannot enjoy the various experience that life has to offer to you. Should you find happiness only in the sweet, pleasurable experiences, or should you search for happiness even in something painful and bitter? Like this you're supposed to write. Am I making my point clear? Happiness isn't something where you're always stuck in life, or happiness isn't something where you're always marginally improving each and every day. That is what. What does happiness mean to you? This is what you're supposed to write in the answer. Will you go for hedonic happiness or will you go for eudaimonic happiness? Please do that. And no matter whatever answer I give you, whatever answer I dictate to you, what I want from your side is this. I want you to bring your originality there. For some people, happiness might be indulging in their hobbies. Am I right? When you indulge in your hobbies, it might be drawing, singing, whatever it might be. The stress that you have in your life, does it increase or does it decrease? You can say that makes you happy. Am I right or am I wrong? Simple. For some people, happiness is learning new things, learning new skills. Why? It's a sense of accomplishment. Am I making my point clear? For some people, happiness could mean putting a smile on someone else's face. Happiness. Artha agtide taane? All of you. come back. Listen to me. Happiness could also emanate from you showcasing gratitude or being thankful for whatever privileges that you have in the life. Am I right or am I wrong? That also can be brought about in your answer if you want. अर्थ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ತಾನೆ? Here, have they asked you what does happiness mean to you, or have they asked you explain with examples? Explain. So if you write happiness is me having a purpose in life, you have to give an example of a person who had a purpose in their life. Am I making my point clear? Happiness is having meaning. You have to give an example to explain that statement much more clearly. Am I making my point clear? Simple. You can't go about just mentioning arguments without giving adequate examples in this question. All of you following me? Look into this, look into this. Happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own actions. So you can write one of the arguments related to happiness is what? Happiness is me engaging in meaningful actions consistently. Example is what? Working hard towards your goal. Something like that you can write. Not daydreaming. Have you heard of something called as daydreaming? Yes. Now the results have come. Some people will be in pain. Most of the people, they would have started to daydream about their future attempt. In the next 1 year, I'm going to do so many things. But when the opportunity presents itself to do certain things, do you think they act or do you think they become complacent and lazy? Complacent and lazy. This is what happens. There are times when students, they come and they sit in front of us and they talk about all the issues. How they come from a humble background, how their parents are poor. I really respect the struggle of their parents, the sacrifice made by their parents. But what I don't understand is, just because you come from a humble background, that doesn't mean that you're going to get an extra treatment in the world. You might come from a humble and poor background. Your parents might be sacrificing a lot. But if you want happiness, you need to start acting. You need to start owning up responsibilities for your own actions. Very few students, they do that. Most of the students, they don't do it. Do you guys agree with me? Happiness is in your own actions. Come back. Look into this. All human beings aspire for happiness. This is what the question was, right? Look at some of the articles. Sorry. Why it's time to stop pursuing happiness. This was an article which was written a couple of years ago, 5 years ago. Why it's time to stop pursuing happiness? Because more than happiness, what is it that people should pursue? Yesterday I've told you in the class, if you remember. Recall. More than happiness, what is it that human beings should strive for in the present times? There are many situations where we will be broken up, am I right? Anti-fragility, am I right? Am I wrong? Like this. There are some people who don't aspire for happiness these days. There are some people who aspire for anti-fragility. If you read this article, what you're going to find is, sometimes wanting happiness will make us less happy. Do you understand the paradox? Wanting happiness makes us less happy. You see some other person, he is happy in his life, he is traveling, you want to be like him. You're forgetting your own life also has its happy moments. Am I right or not? Artha ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ತಾನೆ? Paradoxically, when you want to be more happy, paradoxically, it makes you less happy, it seems. That is what they're saying. Happiness for me is finding satisfaction in the life wherever necessary. I'm not saying that find satisfaction everywhere. Wherever necessary, find satisfaction. Happiness for me is embracing the pain and suffering, pleasurable, sweet moments all alike. Happiness for me is being detached from people, from things which don't add any value to my life. Happiness for me is being surrounded by people who are constructive in the sense they add value to my life. Like this, you can write many articles. Maybe in the conclusion you can write, though most of the people aspire for happiness, these days social psychologists believe being happy paradoxically makes us less happy. The better goal for all would be anti-fragility. Am I making my point clear? Look into this one. There's more to life than being happy. Meaning comes from the pursuit of more complex things than happiness. Artha ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ತಾನೆ? So in the evolving times, thinkers, they're changing their goalpost. Being happy is no longer the primary thing. There are other things in life. Am I making my point clear? Maybe you can capture this trend in your answers as well. And whomsoever is evaluating your ethics, integrity and aptitude papers, do you think they are great geography teachers, polity teachers, or do you think they will be teaching the subject in their graduation, masters and everything? They'll be teaching that subject, am I right? So they will be aware of what is happening in the world. If you showcase a tendency that you're not someone who is only limited to reading what is there in the standard book, what is there in this popular XYZ institution notes, you're following what is happening in the newspaper, in the domain, in the field, they will really appreciate it. They will really appreciate it. It's not simply they've given the statement, all human beings aspire for happiness. There is some nuance to it. There is some logic behind it. I hope you understand that. Did you understand? All of you. Come back. Look into this one. Now, after meta-ethics, there is one more domain called as normative ethics. In applied ethics, in dimension of ethics. Meta-ethics we have completed. What is the other question? What is the other domain? Normative ethics. Normative ethics is called as prescriptive ethics. Now, prescriptive ethics is very simple. Let us say you go to a doctor, you have some cold, you have some headache. What is he going to prescribe to you? Medicines. Am I right or am I wrong? Likewise, in normative or prescriptive ethics, they are prescribing how you need to lead a good life. In meta-ethics, what are they doing? They are exploring fundamental question. What is a good life? They are asking. In prescriptive or normative ethics, I am giving him a prescription how he needs to lead a good life. I am not asking what is a good life. What am I asking here? How he should lead a good life. So I will say to Mr. Hitendra, if you want to lead a good life, be virtuous, have strong character. Let us say, I prescribe madam that if you want to lead a good life, fulfill your duties. Let us say to sir, if he wants to lead a good life, I tell to him, pursue greater happiness. My prescription for all these three people, were they same or were they different? Different. So when I prescribed him have a strong character, I was talking like a virtue ethicist. When I prescribed to her that you need to fulfill your duties, I was a deontological thinker. When I prescribed him you should work towards the greatest happiness of the greatest number, I was a teleological thinker. Am I making my point clear? All of you. In normative or prescriptive ethics, there are various methodologies which suggest how you need to lead a good life. Various methodologies, various theories. I won't discuss these theories as of now. I'll discuss it in contribution of Moral Thinkers chapter. All of you following me? Moral Thinkers chapter. But before I do that, a small exercise. Let us open 2024 ethics paper. 2024 ethics paper. All of you, go ahead. Let us open 2024 ethics paper. Okay. Now, look into this paper and find me a question related to dimension of ethics. Look into this paper and find me a question related to dimension of ethics. Is it there? It must be there. Yes. Ethics encompasses what? Several key dimensions that are crucial in guiding individuals and organization towards morally responsible behaviors. Explain the key dimension of ethics that influences human actions. Discuss how these dimensions shape ethical decision making in the professional context. Now, is it a very short question or is it a very long question? Long question. Imagine 3 hours, 19 questions. Case studies are also long in 2024. So there will be some sort of hurry. Am I right or am I wrong? Even when they give you long questions, my advice to you is this. Look at the question. Ethics encompasses several key dimensions that are crucial in guiding individuals and organizations towards morally responsible behavior. So 3-line statement this is, am I right? How can I concise this 3-line statement using simple words? Dimension of ethics guides us in achieving well-being at all levels of human activities. Can I write that? Simple. Whatever they have said, crucial in guiding towards morally responsible behaviors, I've just tried to concise it by using the term well-being. Why have I chosen the term well-being? Yesterday we discussed. UPSC likes well-being quite a lot, am I right? Consequences of ethics. This is what you're supposed to do. The moment you see a long question, don't get tensed. It's easy to answer, provided you know how to navigate it. Am I making my point clear? So introduction is done. Now you are going to go to the body of the answer. In the body of the answer, what are they asking you? Explain the key dimension of ethics that influence human actions. What are the key dimensions? There are 3. First one is what? Meta-ethics. In meta-ethics, what should I explain? In this dimension of ethics, we fundamentally question or explore the existing realities. How we make decisions. What is a good life? What is the nature of truth? You can give examples. Then the second dimension is what? Normative or prescriptive ethics. In this dimension of ethics, we try to prescribe how someone must lead a good life. As per virtue ethics, you need to lead a good life by having a strong character. As per deontological ethics, you need to lead a good life by fulfilling your duties. As per teleological ethics, greatest happiness of the greatest number. So prescriptive ethics or normative ethics I've explained. What is remaining? Applied ethics. In applied ethics, what I do, I take a set of values, I take a set of principles so that I determine the interaction in any particular domain or subject. Imagine there are so many ethical values, ethical principles. I take a certain number of ethical values, certain number of ethical principles, and I apply it to medical field. What do I call it then? Medical ethics. I take a certain number of ethical values, certain number of ethical principles, and I apply it to, let us say, environment. What do I call it? Environmental ethics. So I explained even your applied ethics reasonably. What is there next? Discuss how these dimensions shape ethical decision making in the professional context. Now some people get tensed here in the examination hall when they're answering this. Don't get tensed. Imagine I have an understanding of how we take decisions in life. Imagine that. What is the benefit of that in the professional context? Imagine I know there is something called as intuition, there is something called as reasoning. How will it help me in professional context? Will I take impulsive decision just like that, or will I try to control and resist those impulsive decisions? Control impulsive decisions. Am I right? Whenever there is some dilemma in my life, whenever there is some crisis in my life, I'll take my time and then take a decision accordingly because I know moral reasoning. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ತಾನೆ? ವಾಪಸ್ ಬನ್ನಿ. Imagine in my professional context, I know something about virtue ethics. So what type of character will I have? Stronger character or weaker character? Stronger. Imagine I have deontological ethics. I've read that. I will fulfill my duties as a teacher. What is my duty? To not only ensure that you score well in your ethics, integrity, aptitude paper, but you're also good human beings. I fulfill my duties. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ತಾನೆ? Imagine as a doctor, I know my duty is to reduce pain. I'll give my best. And I'm not going to commercialize the health sector. Am I making my point clear? Like this. Imagine I have teleological understanding. How will I change my behavior? How will it help me in my professional context? I will be focusing only on my happiness, but only, or will I focus on the happiness of others as well? The greatest happiness, the greatest number. Am I making my point clear? Like this. Imagine I have environmental ethics consciousness in me. Imagine I have environmental ethics consciousness in me. In my professional context, will I use environment as a means to serve my selfish purposes, or will I see environment as an end in itself? Very good. Am I making my point clear? Imagine in my professional domain, you are sharing information with me. Will I maintain the sanctity of that information, or will I use that information for my own profit basis? Sanctity. Am I making my point clear? There are n number of arguments that you can write. The question is big, I also agree. But that does not mean the question is complicated. And when you were solving some RC questions in prelims paper, I'm pretty sure the short passages were the ones which gave you a lot of headache. Artha agtide taane? People say great things come in short size, something like that they say, right? I am going to change it a little bit. Complicated things sometimes might be small. All of you following my point? So don't get tensed when you see long questions. Just have some patience. All of you following me? So I've answered the intro, I've answered the body. What is the only thing which is remaining? Conclusion is remaining. Now you ask yourself this question, very simple question. Did you read about moral science in your school days? Did you have a subject called as moral science? Yes. But what was the criticism of that subject? In that moral science period, people used to take mathematics and science. Am I right or am I wrong? Yes. Tomorrow was moral science test. Today night you were reading about that moral science. Am I right or am I wrong? That is why we have grown up into people who might be academically gifted but not morally informed. Am I making my point clear? So I'm going to keep this trend in my mind and then I'm going to write my conclusion. What will be my conclusion? From a young and early age, we must understand these concepts, appreciate these concepts, and apply them in each and every aspect of our life. Hyphen, education must change in this regard. That's it. Was it easy enough to understand? Simple. Nothing more than that. Okay. Within 7 to 8 minutes, you should develop the ability of writing, because completing the paper in itself is important. But more than that, complete the paper and reasonable answers for each and every question. All of you following me? Come back, come back. There is only one part which is left here. That is applied ethics. In applied ethics, they have consistently asked questions on environment. Now, this was a question which was asked, I think, in the early part of ethics, maybe some 15 or 16, I guess. Look at the question. What is meant by environmental ethics? Why is it important to study? Discuss any one environmental issue from the viewpoint of environmental ethics. Discuss any one issue. How many demands does it have? 3 demands. Now, is it a very complicated question like how you are seeing in 25, 24, 23 paper, or is it straightforward? Straightforward. It's very easy to answer as well. What do you understand by the term environmental ethics? Environmental ethics refers to a set of values, principles that guide our interactions with the larger environment, nature. That's it. You don't have to by heart. What is ethics? Ethics is nothing but a set of values and principles that guide you in terms of leading a good life. Am I right? What is environmental ethics? It is a set of values and principles that determine, that guide us how we need to interact with the larger nature. If you write this definition, more than enough. Or if you're following me, more than enough. Artha agtide taane? Come back, come back. Look into this, look into this. What is the next question that they're asking you? Explain the importance of studying environmental ethics. Importance of studying environmental ethics. So imagine, I was taught environmental ethics from my school days. If I was taught environmental ethics from my school days, will I become a responsible citizen in conserving the forest, or will I still be irresponsible? That is what I'm trying to convey to you. When you study environmental ethics, you become a responsible citizen in conservation of nature. When you do not study environmental ethics, maybe you cannot become responsible in that regard. Am I making my point clear? That's one thing. Imagine at the international level, whomsoever is present, India, USA, America, Pakistan, whatever the countries might be, all of them are aware of environmental ethics. When all of them are aware of environmental ethics, I think the mutual cooperation to tackle global challenges like climate change or global warming will be easier. Am I right? As of now, that mutual cooperation to tackle climate change or global warming, is it on the higher side or is it on the lower side? Because we're not environmentally conscious as much as we are supposed to be. Imagine you become an MLA, imagine you become an MP, and you have environmental ethics in you, you have environmental consciousness in you. Will you frame policies only keeping anthropocentric point of view, human being centric point of view, or will you keep even the nature? We call it as ecocentric. Your Wildlife Protection Act 1972 is an example of ecocentric policy formulation. Imagine you have environmental ethics in you, you will start treating the environment not as a means, not as a tool to serve your selfish purposes, but rather as what? As an end in itself. Imagine you have environmental ethics, you will try to make the sacrifices which are necessary so that your future generation will also enjoy this nature. That is intergenerational justice. Am I making my point clear? Like this. There is a reason why we call it as general studies paper. We don't call it as PhD level paper. When you get an understanding of environmental ethics and you start implementing environmental ethics at all levels of human life, there will be changes. Imagine I'm an organization, I'm a company, and I implement environmental ethics in my organization. Will I contaminate the natural resources or will I maintain its purity? Maintain its purity. Imagine as an organization, I have environmental ethics. Whatever profit I'm making, whatever CSR activities I will be doing, some part of that CSR activities will go towards nature conservation. Am I right? Imagine I'm an organization and there is environmental ethics in me. What will I do? I'll ensure that whatever profit I'm making is not only solely based on profit, it is not only solely based on people welfare, but also the welfare of the planet. This is what we call as 3P, profit, people and planet. Am I making my point clear? Like this. Did I give you some 2 or 3 arguments, or at least 5 arguments I've given you? At least. That is why I keep saying, try to visualize. If there is environmental ethics at the individual level, what happened? If there is environmental ethics at the societal level, what will happen? Environmental ethics at the organizational, national and international level, what changes will be there? You can talk about it. Now here they are asking, discuss any one environmental ethics issue. You tell me, you have been preparing since last 1 year or more than that for these examinations. Tell me one environmental ethics issue which has been in news recently. Don't go for the same deforestation. Wayanad floods was in 2024 if I'm not wrong. Alva? Adbit yenide? Yes, Great Nicobar project, Aravali Hills. Am I making my point clear? You can bring all of these things. Then you are seeing Amazon forest fires. Am I right or am I wrong? Then you're also seeing the heat waves, which are on the highest side in European countries these days, including India also. Heat waves we suffered quite a lot. Am I right or am I wrong? Like this. Great Indian Bustard conservation, man-animal conflict. Not long ago in Chikmagaluru, right, your Hassan and everything, man-animal conflict is increasing. There were articles written on that. So in this Chikmagaluru and all of these things, man-animal conflict, it can take the form of elephant attacks. It can take the form of your monkeys destroying the farm produce. Am I making my point clear? Like this. From an ethical point of view, imagine I am interlinking rivers and I have to analyze the issue from an environmental point of view. Interlinking of rivers, is it based from an ecocentric point of view or is it based from an anthropocentric point of view? Human-centric. That is first argument. Now when I am interlinking river, so many forest areas might be lost. You are going to bring that angle. Alright, forest. So many animals might be affected because of this. You can bring that angle. There might be some people who might be displaced. What about their rehabilitation? What about the remuneration that you're supposed to give? Like that. Imagine I'm a company which is polluting the local lake. The drinking water is contaminated. Am I making my point clear? The animals will be affected. The kind of diseases that people have, I have to provide some help to them. Am I right or am I wrong? Like this. You can also bring one more issue. We want to establish data centers in our country. What is the problem with data center from an ethical point of view, from an environmental point of view? Too much of water. Namge diri laiva. And super El Nino, you have heard of it. Am I making my point clear? Like this. All of your understanding. So bring your originality here. Don't go for the same deforestation that we have discussed since a long period of time. All of you following me? A very simple, straightforward question. Look at the next question here. Before I go to the next question, look at some of the current affairs. Europe faces another sizzling early season heat wave. Maybe there might be a question again on environmental ethics. If you come across a question on environmental ethics, you can define it. You can give some opinion of a thinker. You can give some quote. You can bring some current affairs. Recently, the increased heat waves in Europe has brought back the necessity of understanding environmental ethics. If you write this much, that is also good enough. All of you following me? Look at this one, the Great Nicobar Project. You yourself highlighted it. Come back. The kind of personalities you are supposed to write in your answer as example. This is Tulsi Gowda, a lady from Karnataka who planted almost 30,000 saplings, who took care of these saplings. Now, is she some extraordinary person like your Anant Ambani having Manthan and everything, or is she an ordinary person? Ordinary person doing extraordinary things. These type of personalities will fetch you a good number of marks in your answers, be it in ethics or even in essay. So keep this in mind. All of you are following me? Look into this one. In China, whatever China was in 2013 and whatever China is in 2026, there is a stark difference. In 2013, they had smog. And you know very well, smog, is it something which is very good for your health or is it unhealthy? Particulate matter 2.510, you might have studied about it. What happened in China was many people, they took to public transport. Now, because of not just public transport, other measures also they had taken. But because of huge encouragement towards taking public transport, the pollution in their cities has reduced drastically. China, Beijing, which had this very dense air, smog at one point in time, these days it has clean air to breathe. Have you heard of something called as Chernobyl? Where did Chernobyl happen? Ukraine. As of now, it is in Ukraine. Back then, it is called as USSR. Now, Chernobyl, the kind of radiation which was released, many children in the Ukraine, Belarus, have you heard of that? Many children started to have cancer in their young age itself. All of you following me? Come back, come back, come back. You need to look at the impact of certain industrial disasters. In Vizag, there was a steel plant disaster not long ago. In Shivakasi, many a times you see cracker industry related disasters, am I right? In China, imagine a good number of people using public transport and how it contributed to cleaning their air because they understood the importance of environment. You know which movie is this? Mad Max. So Mad Max, here they're depicting a world, how the world might be in a post-climate change, global warming world. Do you see the world here to be very nice, or do you see the world here to be filled with monsters type of thing? We are fighting for petrol these days. When the time comes, we might be fighting for food, water. Mad Max story. All of you, come back, come back, come back. And you tell me, climate change, does it affect rich people more or poor people more? Rich people can go to hospital, they can buy air filters and whatnot, purifiers and whatnot. Poor people can't. You guys agree with me? Come back, come back. Wildlife Protection Act, I've told you. Then, what is the name of this animal? Black buck. Do you remember a community takes care of black buck where they breastfeed this black buck? Rajasthan. What is the name of that community? Bishnoi community. You can give examples like this as well. All if you're following me. Look at this question. This question was asked a couple of years ago, 2024. Global warming and climate change are the outcomes of human greed in the name of development, indicating the direction in which extinction of organisms, including human beings, is heading towards loss of life on Earth. How do you put an end to this to protect life and bring equilibrium between the society and environment? This is the question which they have given in 2024. Is it a short question or a long question? Is it a straightforward question or is it an application based question? Application. So when you write means, don't get tensed. Look at the first line. Global warming and climate change are the outcomes of human greed. So how will I write? Climate change and global warming are not just developmental related problems, but more importantly, they are moral problems demanding our immediate attention and change. If you write this, more than enough. Whenever there is an environmental ethics related question, my students, what they do is, they write the quote of Gandhi. Earth has everything for everyone's need, but not for everyone's greed. You might also be thinking about the same quote when I'm teaching you environmental ethics. There's nothing wrong in that. Whatever Gandhi told was correct. But my dear friends, if I'm evaluating so many hundreds of papers on a day-to-day basis and everywhere the same Gandhi quote is given, will I feel happy? As an evaluator, no. If someone gives something different, maybe I'm going to give them more marks. All of you are following me. I'll give you another reference a little bit later. But did you understand how to give introduction to this? Human greed they have used. So you're going to say global warming and climate change are not just outcomes of development, but more importantly, outcomes of unsustainable greed. All of you following me? A moral problem, the biggest moral problem of 21st century. Like this, you can add some more punch to your introduction. Now you go to the body of the answer. What are they saying? In which extinction of organisms, including human beings, is heading towards loss of life on Earth. You might give some examples of organisms which are on the verge of extinction because of development projects. You can mention about any loss of life because of global warming and climate change. Can you give me some example of organisms? Sorry. Great Indian bustard. Okay. Other than that, always think simple. Simplicity is your greatest ally. In our cities at one point in time, what is it that you used to see? Which bird is? Sparrow. Where is sparrow now? We don't see sparrows. Here we see pigeon, I guess. Am I right or am I wrong? Myna. Am I right or am I wrong? Can you think of any other organisms? Earthworms. Okay. Honeybee. Am I right or am I wrong? Like this. So you're going to mention some organisms and how they are on the verge of extinction because of development project. The development project must be there. Then loss of human life because of some freak environmental disasters. Give me some environmental disasters in the last couple of years. Maybe Wayanad floods, maybe Assam, maybe in your Kodagu. Because of which there was a huge loss of life. You guys agree with me? Heat waves. How many people have died in our country in the present heat waves? Any idea? Why will we have ideas, sir? Until you tell us, even we don't have idea. Come back, come back, come back. So maybe the first few lines, the body of the answer, it is going to talk about that. Look at the question now. How do you put an end to this to protect life and bring equilibrium between society and environment? So are they asking for you to completely go and protect environment and forget development, or are they asking you for some equilibrium? Equilibrium they're asking. Development and environmental ethics must go hand in hand. They should not be separated from each other. That's the question they're asking, am I right? So how will you bring the equilibrium? As a common citizen of this world, first and foremost thing that you need to have a respect for nature. respecting nature can bring equilibrium. Environmental conscious policy making can bring equilibrium. Am I making my point clear? All of you. How can you bring an equilibrium? Focusing on intergenerational justice when we go forward with our actions, policies or anything can bring an equilibrium. Am I making my point clear? All of you understanding? Come back. Look into this. Aldo Leopold, all right, one of the greatest thinkers and writers. He has mentioned few more parameters to bring equilibrium between development as well as environment. Look into this one. First one, he is saying environmental stewardship. Environmental stewardship means being responsible, taking the leadership. Look at the second one, intergenerational justice, I told you. Look at the third one, responsibility and accountability in your policy making. Fourth one, compassion towards all life forms. All of you are following me? And the last one, principle of moderation. What is principle of moderation? Balance, restraint, not too much of indulgence. So what Aldo Leopold says is, when you bring this at all levels of human activities, then you can maintain an equilibrium between development and environmental conservation. All of you are following me? And he gives a very famous dialogue at the end. Look at one of his dialogue. A thing is right when it tends to preserve the integrity, stability and beauty of the biotic community. A thing is right when it preserves integrity, stability and beauty. Three things. Can I use this particular quote in the introduction? A development is right when it preserves integrity, stability and beauty of all life forms on this earth. Am I making my point clear? He has written a book as well, a Sand County Almanac. From that book only I have taken these arguments and this particular quote. Arth aagtide taane? All of you. Is it a very difficult question to answer or is it on the easier side? Easier side. Next time when you go and answer any question on environmental ethics in UPSC mains, they might not give you a straightforward question like 2014-15. Neither they might repeat the global warming climate change. They might make it a little bit more complicated in how they word it, in how they phrase it. You should be ready. You should be ready. All of you following me? Come back, come back. Look into this. So from an applied ethics point of view, questions on environment have been asked quite a few times. So please be ready. If not environment, what kind of questions they can ask from applied ethics? They can ask you questions on AI, application of AI. If not application of AI, they can ask you questions on digital technology. Digital technology, does it mean only social media or other aspects as well? Other aspects. Look at the other one. Again, the digital age. Social media has revolutionized our way of communication and interaction. However, it has raised several ethical issues and challenges. Describe the key ethical dilemmas in this regard. These are the questions. In 2024, the first question was this only. I'll discuss all the three questions. I'll give you the answers for all of them. Not to worry. Come back. Look at the first question, 2024 question. The application of artificial intelligence as a dependable source of input for administrative rational decision making is a debatable issue. How will you write an introduction for it? Think. How will you write an introduction for this? Are you going to use any current affairs? As per data, by 2030, almost 40 to 45% companies will transition to usage of AI, hyphen raising various ethical questions. Like this you can do. Or else, yes, go ahead. AI? AI in quotes. Yes, recently, I'll come to you, Mary. In recent times, Indian judiciary is starting to use AI. There was even a committee set up for integrating AI in judicial process. Like that. Yes, madam. Okay, yes, good. That is also a good current affairs event. Or else you can also talk about TCS. Tata Consultancy Service, in its recent announcement, it told in the next few years, They're going to have as many AI agents as human agents. All of you are following me? So current affairs you can use. If not current affairs, what can we use other than that? Carefully listen. Ethics and human interface. Tell me the syllabus topics there. Essence of ethics. What comes next? Determinants. All right, determinants. So let me stick with this determinant. Let me use this term determinant. AI in the next few years is going to be a major determinant in how we think, how we speak, and how we act. One must be careful of its continued usage in this world. Can I write like this? So you can use some of the syllabus words which is there in your syllabus and frame your introduction and conclusion accordingly. Accordingly. You don't have to get tensed if you don't know a quote or a definition or a thinker. You can use syllabus. That is also there. I hope I have made my point clear. Now let's come back to the body of the answer. It's a debatable issue. It's a debatable issue means there is only one side, there is only two sides, or there can be three sides. What do you think? How many sides will be there in a debate? Two. Pakka? Now if you are a PSIR student, you might have heard of Socrates. Thesis, antithesis, and finally synthesis. So you can give some arguments to say why AI is a good decision in rational decision making. It's a good policy. It's a good step. Now AI, it has the ability to analyze thousands of documents and find patterns in it. Am I right? Let us say I write an argument. AI possesses the quality to analyze millions of documents, detect a pattern. Will I stop here? If I stop here, it will come across like a GS-2 or a GS-3 paper argument. I have to link it to ethics. The ability to analyze millions of documents and find a pattern can be effective in tackling corruption. And if you see your syllabus, corruption comes in the last chapter, challenges of corruption in the probity chapter. When you link it with corruption, that's your ethics. The second one. AI can be used to improve the quality of services. Am I making my point clear? For example, in the health, education, or even judicial domain. Why am I using the term quality of service? Because if you open your syllabus, there is something called as quality of service which comes in your probity chapter. Am I making my point clear? Like this. Other than that, AI is also capable, listen to me carefully, AI is also capable of enabling an effective and efficient utilization of funds. Why am I using utilization of funds? Again in the probity chapter, you have that particular mention of the syllabus, utilization of funds. You can give an example. All of you are following me? Artha agtide taane? Minimizing revenue expenditure, something like that. If you want, you can write. Carefully listen to me. What could be the other reasons why we are using AI? AI enables objective decision making, which improves the quality of governance. Why am I using the term objectivity? Because if you open aptitude and foundational values, what is there? Objectivity you will find there. Am I making my point clear? Like this. So I have given one side of the debate, the for arguments. What should be the other side? Against arguments. Am I right or am I wrong? So in the against arguments, what will I write? AI, whatever data we feed into AI, do you think the data will be free from any bias, or will there be some bias in the data only? Imagine I'm pushing biased data into AI system, the outcomes will also be biased. Am I right or am I wrong? There might be a probability of biased AI usage, AI answers. All of you are following me? Why? Because the data might be biased. Artha clear thane? The AI face recognition system which was set up by a company, it was biased against the darker complexion people. Am I making my point clear? This is an example. Come back. Now AI might be very good in dealing with pattern recognition, but the same AI might not be good in giving that humane touch. All of you are following me? If you're talking to a doctor who is based on this AI model and talking to a doctor who is based on a human scale, who will you like more? Human touch is important in life. Am I making my point clear? You might say, now sir, I like an AI doctor. All right. But give it some time. You'll get there. Human doctor, there are certain services where human touch is very much important. Now there is another problem with AI in rational decision making. One is compassion might not be easy for AI to find out. When you're using your chat GPT, Google, Gemini or whatever it might be, there is a possibility that it might give you wrong answers and push these wrong answers as if it is right answers. Am I right? We call this phenomenon as hallucination. That is another thing. Imagine I'm an officer, I'm giving some input to ChatGPT. It is giving me a hallucinated answer. I believe in this hallucinated answer and I use it in my policy implementation. Will I be successful or will it be a failure? That is what. Am I making my point clear? Like this. Other than that, what are the arguments against the usage of AI? Other than that, privacy, your information might be harvested for their own selfish needs. Well, if you're following me, this AI system can be used to manipulate you as well. Our finance minister, Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman, not long ago, she advised the officers not to use ChatGPT and these type of models because the makers of the model can harvest that data. Imagine there are two people similarly talented, but one person has access to AI, another person does not have access to AI. Which one will see more development? Speaking, access to AI. So it might create social justice issue. Am I making my point clear? So you can create some n number of support arguments, n number of counter arguments. Now whatever counter arguments I have given in the last couple of minutes, please choose some 4 or 5 counter arguments related to decision making. Imagine you're someone always dependent on AI, your confidence level, your self-belief in your own thinking, will it keep on increasing or will it keep on decreasing? That is very much important, right? If everything can be done by an AI, why should I give you a job of an IAS or an IPS? Doesn't make much sense. So I gave support arguments. I gave non-supporting arguments. What am I supposed to do as of now? Synthesis. AI, can I stop the development of AI altogether? I should not. All right. Howsoever, whatever AI development is happening, along with that AI development, I must invest in understanding the AI. Wisdom is important. Isaac Asimov, one of the greatest thinkers ever to be born, he gave a very beautiful statement. The saddest aspect of humanity is science and technology grows more rapidly than the human wisdom. Do you understand the statement? Science and technology is growing, and our human wisdom is at this level. So here, as per Isaac Asimov, AI development or any scientific development must not be stopped, but rather we must invest heavily in our human wisdom in improving how to use the science and technology in the right way possible. Like this, you're going to write. Artha ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ತಾನೆ? All of you following me? Simple. AI, in the conclusion part, AI should be just an enabler. It should not replace the humane decision making in administration. It should just be an enabler. It should just assist you. It should not replace you. Am I making my point clear? All of you. Come back. Listen. In 2024, I guess, or maybe the end of 2023, I forgot. There was a summit which was held in UK. The name of the summit was Bletchley Park Summit. AI Summit. Very good. It was in this AI Summit. That we decided whatever AI development we are going to go forward in the future, that AI development will be based on certain factors. Factors like what? It will be AI development will be human centric. AI development will have privacy built into it. AI development will have fairness built into it. AI development will have necessary transparency and accountability. AI development will create good, not harm people, beneficence built into it. Am I making my point clear? Maybe you can mention this in your conclusion. In the Bletchley Park Summit, AI development must be regulated on moral foundations like hyphen. You can write all of these things. If not this, couple of days ago, do you remember Pope Leo 14 or 16? I don't remember the exact number. Pope Leo, the new Pope, he commented upon your AI. Am I right or am I wrong? He said that AI is anti-human. We should be careful about it. All of you are following me? As per the observation of Pope Leo XIV, we need to work to humanize AI as much as possible so that universal justice is upheld. This is one thing. In our country, all of you are UPSC aspirants, you've been preparing in a very hard-working way. Tell me, have you heard of this Manav guidelines? Manav guidelines are associated with what? With which individual? Our Prime Minister Modi. Manav guideline wants to humanize AI as much as possible. Each and every letter in Manav, M-A-N-A-V, it has its own meaning. Manav guidelines by our Honorable Prime Minister Modi might help to ensure that AI development does not go against the values that humanity stands for. Something like this you can write. All of you following me? They might ask a question again on AI, given the kind of questions that they asked in your paper 2, comprehension. I think there were some good number of passages on AI only, if I'm not wrong. So be careful. All of you following me? Did you understand how to answer that question? Look into this one. Look into this image. Next time, they might not ask about environmental ethics or AI ethics. They might ask about any business ethics, some media ethics. Look at that image on your right hand side, the cloud that you see. Imagine I ask a question, what are the principles that must guide an educational institution when it is providing service? Did you understand the question? What are the principles that must guide an educational institution when it is providing services? What will your answer be? Look at the cloud. The way an education system is providing its service, should it lead to trust or should it lead to distrust? Whatever services that educational institution is providing, it should be irresponsible behavior or responsible behaviors. Next, what should it be based on? It should be based on a principle. No child should be left behind. No child should be left behind because they can't pay money or whatever the reasons might be. Look at the other one. Relationship, end in itself. In that education system, there must be good number of choices for the students to choose what they want. All of you are following me? If they give you education, you can take some principles from this. If they give you medicine, you can take some principles from this. This is a standard list that you can use and apply it to any given domain. Am I making my point clear? So far, they've asked about AI, digital technology, then your environment, but there is no guarantee that they're going to ask the same thing. In that scenario, I want you to just remember this cheat code. Use this cheat code and apply it to any domain. All of you are following me? Artha clear tha? Yes or no? Okay, good enough, good enough. Did you understand this? Look into this. There are two more questions here. I'm not going to discuss these questions in a detailed manner. Quite simple. I'll give you notes for it, but I won't discuss it in a detailed manner because somewhat repetitive like the first one. Impact of digital technology as a reliable source of input for rational decision making is a debatable issue. Critically evaluate with suitable examples. Somewhat similar to this. So I'm not going to do it. In the present digital age, social media has revolutionized our way of communication and interaction. However, it has raised several ethical issues and challenges. Describe the key ethical dilemmas in this regard. Now, introduction, how will I give? Social media, is it something which we use very scarcely in our life, or has it become a major determinant in our life? Major determinant. So, you can use that syllabus. and write your introduction. Not a big thing. In the body of the answer, what are the various angles they have given in the body of the answer? How many angles are there in the body of the answer? Identify that. How many angles? 1, 2 or 3? 1, 2 or 3. How many angles are there in the body of the answer? However, it has raised several ethical issues. First angle. And second angle. What is the third angle? Describe the key ethical dilemmas in this regard. 3 angles are there. Keeping these 3 angles in mind, you are supposed to write an answer. What is an ethical issue? I usually give an analogy in my classes to describe what an ethical issue is. Listen to me. There are 2 individuals, person A, person B. Now, person A has lost his father recently. Because of the loss of his father, he could not read for an examination, and if he does not clear this examination, he cannot sit for placement. So, in a class A, B, they are sitting, A and B are best friends. Let us say there is an invigilator in that particular classroom. Alright, let us say he is person C, he is the invigilator. Now, A and B are best friends. B understands A has not read anything for the examination. So, what he does, B very secretly tries to showcase his answers to A. The invigilator C, he finds out about these 2 people cheating. Cheating. Am I making my point clear? Now, when he asked why these 2 people were cheating, A takes the responsibility and he says, sir, I had lost my father, I could not read, and if I don't clear this exam, I won't be able to sit for the placement, and my parents, my family depends on me. Whatever punishment you are going to give, please give that punishment to me only, not me. Am I making my point clear? Now, as a invigilator, punishing A or B is the question. If you punish A, if you punish B, to what extent? That is another question. Am I right or am I wrong? And whatever examination was happening in the classroom, these 2 people have cheated. So the fairness in the examination, has it improved or has it declined? Am I making my point clear? So what is the dilemma here? For me as a teacher, the dilemma is, should I punish A, B or not? That's one dilemma. If I punish, to what extent I have to punish? That is another dilemma. Am I making my point clear? What is the issue here? Issue is much more broader. The issue is fairness in the examination has been compromised because of cheating. Dilemma is much more specific. Dilemma indicates challenging situation. What was the challenge here for me? Who to punish more? Whether to punish, that is challenging. And in a dilemma, only 3 people were there. A, B and C. In an issue, the issue is much more broader. Here the number of stakeholders are also more. And in an issue, it indicates a compromised situation already. In dilemma, it's a challenging situation. In an issue, it's a compromised situation. When both of them have cheated, already the fairness in the examination, has it been upheld or has it been compromised? Compromised. So let us say KPSC. Now KPSC, you know, they conducted prelims 2 times. Prelims 1.0, prelims 2.0. When they conducted prelims 1.0, what was the major issue there? The translation of the paper in Kannada, it was done in a very bad manner. Fairness in the examination was not there. It was more biased towards the English medium students. Am I right? What was the dilemma for our Chief Minister? What was the dilemma for your KPSC members? To conduct re-examination or not, that was the dilemma. Am I making my point clear? And as far as I have seen, no matter when KPSC conducts its examination, there will always be some issue, there will always be some dilemma. Am I right or am I wrong? Now recently UPSC prelims happened. What were some of the issues highlighted by students in UPSC prelims paper? It was more biased towards English medium students or regional language students. English medium. But I have seen people who have gone to English medium schools from their LKG time and still they have not cleared. What should I say? All of you following me? Some people, they wanted the cutoff to be reduced. Instead of 13,000, 30,000 people must have given the chance to take up means. Some people, when I say a retired IAS officer, I don't know whether you've come across it. Whether to accept what he has said or not said, that is the dilemma. Am I making my point clear? I saw some social media post on UPSC prelims paper. Maybe you also have similar sentiments in your heart. They scolded CSAT paper as if it was random, obscure, useless, whatever the words they used. But despite it being random, yesterday when the results were announced, some 13,000 people might have cleared, am I right? 13,000 people cleared CSAT. How did they clear such a random paper? Did Saraswati, Sakshat Saraswati come sit next to her, next to him and teach them answers? All right. I understand your pain and frustration, but the reality is the nature of the competition is changing and we need to change with time. That's the reality. Well, if you're following me, come back. Did you understand the difference between issue? Issue is broader. Issue will have many stakeholders. Issue indicates a compromise situation. What is the dilemma? It will have limited stakeholders. It will indicate a challenging situation. All if you're following me, like this. For example, in Israel and Palestine, what are the various ethical issues? The usage of weapons by Israel, is it on similar levels like Palestine or is it much more dangerous? There is disproportionality. That's an issue. Am I making my point clear? What might be the dilemma for India? Dilemma is if I speak for Israel, Palestine will feel sad. If I speak for Palestine, Israel will feel sad. How to maintain that middle marga here? That's the dilemma. Am I making my point clear? Like this. All of you are following me? Look into this. In the present age, social media has revolutionized our way of communication and interaction. However, it has raised several ethical issues and challenges. Describe the key ethical dilemmas in this regard. Introduction is done. What are the various ethical issues given rise by social media? Ethical issues. Anonymous accounts. Sometimes fake accounts. It's an issue. Other than that, what is the other social media? Cancel culture, have you heard of that? Doxing, have you heard of that? Doxing is basically letting the whole world know the personal details of another individual. So recently, Khan sir and one journalist, they got into a spat. Am I right or am I wrong? Defamation cases and all were filed. I was going through an article and apparently, I'm not sure, Khan sir told the address of the journalist daughter's school. Am I making my point clear? Whether he did it consciously or subconsciously, I have no idea whatsoever. With all due respect for what he has done to the country, to the student community, that really did not sit well with many students, with many individuals. So maybe various social media issues like this. Am I making my point clear? Have you heard of something called as grooming? What is grooming? These old people, they start to groom young children, both boys and girls, to behave in a certain sexual way. Artha agtide taane? Like this. All of you following me? Piracy. Your Telegram is the hub of piracy these days. Am I right or am I wrong? So you can think of n number of issues in social media. That's not at all a problem. Have you heard of something called as trolling? Cyberbullying? Like this. Shreyas Iyer's sister, her name is Sasta or whatever it might be, I forgot. She made a video when Kings 11 Punjab was winning all the matches continuously. Alright. But the next few matches, the second part of their campaign, they kept losing except one match. Am I right or am I wrong? Many people were trolling her. Sometimes it was bordering on cyberbullying. You might have read certain social media news when Virat Kohli was not performing well. There were some individuals who were attacking his wife Anushka. Forget Anushka, they were attacking their daughter as well. Am I making my point clear? Some people don't like Virat Kohli living in London, but I can understand why he is living in London. Alright. Be that as it may, is there any scarcity of social media related issues or do you have good number of things? Good number, not at all a problem. Challenges they're asking. Issues somehow you manage. Challenges is what? Challenges basically, let us say my friend here, he becomes an administrator. From an administrator point of view, what are the challenges in controlling social media? Is social media located in our country or the jurisdiction might be elsewhere? That's the challenge. Am I making my point clear? Another challenge is what? You require good number of human resources who understand how social media works. Arth ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ತಾನೆ? That is another problem. All of you are following me? They're asking you about administrative challenges when it comes to social media. And if you talk about your WhatsApp, there is this concept in WhatsApp, end-to-end encryption. There might be some radical elements which might use end-to-end encryption for nefarious activities. How to deal with their concepts end-to-end encryption, that is one more challenge. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ತಾನೆ? How to prevent data harvesting of the users of a social media company for any selfish purposes of the social media, another challenge. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ತಾನೆ? What is the dilemma? The dilemma is this. Imagine I give an opinion. Am I making my point clear? Imagine I give an opinion, the government does not like that opinion, so they send a report to the social media to cancel my account. All of you are following my point? So here in social media, do I have an absolute right to share all my opinion, or is it based on certain restrictions? The dilemma. To what extent someone must be given the authority to have an opinion versus not. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ತಾನೆ? Like this. Am I making my point clear? So you are supposed to highlight some ethical dilemmas, some challenges, some issues like this. What will you write in the conclusion? Social media. What do you think you will write? Okay. I'll bring this thinker later. In the conclusion, I'm going to write a simple thing. Social media is an emerging medium which will play a prominent part in controlling the thoughts, words and actions of people. Its regulation must not only be from a legal angle, but should be from a moral observation, moral angle, something like this you can write. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ತಾನೆ? Simple enough. Did you understand these three questions? All of you. Then you have a concept called as ethics in private and public relations. UPSC has not asked questions on this so far. It's PYQs. Nevertheless, I want you to be aware of this. All right? Nevertheless. What are the points here? Private relation with your family, with your friends. Are they standardized relations? Are they formal relations? Or are they informal? They're informal. So in this family and friend sphere, what type of values should you follow? Values like love. What is love? Hitendra, what is love? आपने सुना है? क्या होता है love? Okay, imagine I ask Shah Rukh Khan what is love. What will he say? Huh? Pyar, dosti. Okay. What is love? Caring. Yes. Love is a feeling which is based on caring for another person without expecting anything in return. Like this, if you answer, more than enough. All of you are following me? What is patience? Patience is basically you having the ability to tolerate any minor frustration that might come your way. That is patience. Then is confidentiality. Confidentiality is having respect for him, for sharing his information and maintaining secrecy about that information. Not sharing it with others, not gossiping about it. Am I making my point clear? Private relations, family, friends, how you interact with them. There are certain values which are important. Love is one, patience is another, confidentiality is another. Another might be your honesty. What is honesty? I already told you when I started the classes. Consistently being truthful in life. Apart from honesty, you also require compassion. What is compassion? It is the ability to not only feel the pain of someone else, but also reduce the pain and suffering of someone else. That is compassion. Now you don't have to stick with this only 5 values in private relations. You can bring other values. But as per me, in private domain, these 5 values are very much important. Why do I think love is very much important? Because when love is there, a person's psychological necessities are met. He will have that identity clarity. He will have that confidence in life. Imagine I teach patience to someone in my family. Let us say to my kid. The kid will grow up tolerant. The kid will try to manage whatever pain or suffering he or she might witness. Imagine I teach my kids confidentiality. They will know how to maintain secrecy. They will know how to maintain respect for someone else's information. When they become trustworthy, Hitendra might share his life, pain and suffering with them more easily. When he shares his pain and suffering, the kind of burden, mental burden that he might have, it might reduce. What was the last thing that I told you? Compassion. When I teach my kids compassion, they'll become better humane beings. Am I making my point clear? So all these 5 values have their own importance as to why in private relations it must be there. If I don't teach my kids compassion, they might become like Pune posh kid, arrogant fellow. Am I right or am I wrong? Like this. What is the other thing? Ethics in public. Now public relation is much more formal interaction. Am I making my point clear? It is much more formal interaction. That is public relations. Imagine a government talking with the citizens of this country. Can they talk like Maga Macha, how are you? No. There is a certain level of language that is demanded. In public relations, in this formal setup, what are the values which should determine our interaction? Ethics in public relations. You might have heard of something called as a PR team. Every company, every celebrity these days, they have a PR team. That is what I'm referring to. Even your press information bureau, it is like a PR team of your government. So in this public relations, there must be respect. What is respect? It is the admiration that you have towards someone else's dignity or achievement. That is respect. Am I making my point clear? Imagine Narendra Modi sir and Rahul Gandhi sir are interacting with each other in public relations domain. Should they interact with each other using that animosity, or should they interact with each other with mutual respect? But the reality is, do we see that respect when two politicians of two different political parties are interacting? Rarely we see. Am I right or am I wrong? One political party might call another person as Maut Ka Saudagar. Another political party might call someone as Pappu. Atal Bihari Vajpayee at one point in time was called as Ajata Shatru. A man who has no enemies. Why was he called as Ajata Shatru? Why was he respected so much even by the opposition members? The respect he showcased to opposition members. I'm not saying the ruling party does not have any such members like that in the present. I'm saying in general, in politics, it is reducing. It is reducing. In this given light, when our CM V.K. Shivkumar, he went and visited Yedurappa's house, Deve Gowda's house, keeping all the political ideologies aside, just looking at it from an objective point of view, that was commendable. You need to criticize people where it is necessary. You need to credit people where it must be done. You can't be selective. Well, if you're following me, come back. Respect. When I'm interacting with another citizen in this country, they should be respect. I should not look at them because they are coming from a lower caste or a minority community or any other parameters and discriminate against them. Apart from respect, there should be honesty in public relations. There should be integrity in public relations. There should be care in public relations. And more importantly, there should be a sense of brotherhood in public relations. Brotherhood means what? What do we call brotherhood in your polity classes as? Fraternity. Alright? Brotherhood is a sense of belonging to something larger than yourself. That is brotherhood. If you're following me, that is brotherhood. If you take our country, we have so much of diversity. For a larger part of our country, we have maintained unity in this diversity. But if this brotherhood reduces because of communalism, regionalism, or any other isms, there is every possibility that this brotherhood might get destroyed. Am I right or am I wrong? Care. Now, care does not mean you taking an active effort to reduce their pain and suffering. Care can be as simple as asking a person how they are doing. Care can be as simple as showcasing gratitude for the services that they have provided. Care can be as simple as giving a glass of water to that Zomato, Swiggy delivery agent who might come and visit you to deliver your food in the summer season. Like that. That is care. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ತಾನೆ? Imagine all of these values are there in public relations domain. Will we feel happy to live in this country or will we feel unhappy? Right? Our per capita income is increasing, but not these values. That's why. No questions have come so far on this. That is why I have increased my pace a little bit here. But in the notes, it will be there. Don't worry. Imagine whatever values I told in private relations, it is not there. What will happen in that scenario? In that scenario, you might have mental health issues. The fellow talks about it. This is Siddharth Malya, am I right? His parents, his father was who? Vijay Malya. He talks about his upbringing, the kind of love that he received. It was not in the right possible manner and how he suffered mental health issues because of it. Look into this thing. We have something called as honor killing in our society, am I right? If there is love, a non-judgmental love, maybe honor killings would not be there. Am I making my point clear? Here I have described the daughter of a former MLA, Arvind Limbavali, who acted in an arrogant manner when she was having conversation with a traffic police. All of you following me? If values were taught, she might be a good person, I'm not denying it. If values were taught and she showcased commitment in that situation, maybe this would not have been reflected. Look into this one. If you cannot find love from parents, from family, where will you search for? Social media, through addictions, drugs, drinks, or viral trends like this. What do we call this viral trends as? Blue whale syndrome. Am I making my point clear? If you, listen to me. If you can't find the love, the care, the patience that we are talking about, a person, even though they might be surrounded by many people, the person will always feel what? Empty, lonely, isolated, like that. Come back. Look into the examples here. Here you have Ustad Zakir Hussain, the guy who is wearing the mask. Alright. He is shouldering the dead body of his Hindu friend with whom he played many musical shows. A Muslim shouldering a Hindu body, that is brother. All of you following me? Look into this. Nikhil Kamath, Zero the co-founder, he has said that when he dies, 50% of his wealth will go to who? Me. No, it will go to the society. Whether he is going to follow up on it or not, I don't know. This is a pledge that he has made. That showcases care. This is Mr. Hajjabab, a person from Mangaluru district, from our very own state. He sold fruits, and whatever money he got from those fruits, he set up a school in his village. Am I making my point? Like this, care. Look into this one. An auto rickshaw driver, 59-year-old, when he passed away, his organs, it provided life to many other. Organ donation. When there is care in the public domain, these type of activities will increase. Look at this one. His name is Gulzari Lal Nanda. He was honest. He showcased integrity. When he retired from politics, he had only few thousands of rupees in his account. He was caretaker prime minister of this country as well. Can I say that our ministers, MLAs, they showcase honesty and integrity? Far from it, right? Criminalization of politics. Their assets grow 400% in 5 years. All right. Mine does not grow 1%. 400%. Imagine this. Come back. This is Mr. Parameshwaran Iyer. He was an IAS officer. He retired as cabinet secretary. He was very instrumental in the success of a mission called as Swachh Bharat Mission. When you have respect for someone else's life, when you have respect towards your duties, you showcase honesty, integrity. Whatever targets is given to you in your public domain, you are going to fulfill it. In one of the Mann Ki Baat episodes of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he credits Mr. Parameshwaran Iyer for the success of Swachh Bharat mission. All of you following me? I want examples like this. Any idea who this fellow is? He is R.N. Kaur. You must have heard of an organization called as RAW, Research and Analysis Wing. RAW, do you remember that? He was the guy who set up that RAW, and he ensured that this RAW will not be misused by Prime Minister Indira Gandhi during emergency era. Am I making my point clear? There were so many cases filed against RAW, there were so many cases filed against Mr. R.N. Kaur because opposition members believed RAW was used to monitor, to surveil the politicians at that point in time. But none of the cases, it gave a verdict which said that this guy was a criminal. No, he maintained integrity of his office. He maintained integrity of his organization. He resisted any political pressure. That is what you are supposed to write. And all this Ajit Doval that you see, the real gangster, the original gangster, Durandhar, is this fellow. All of you following me? At one point in time, a spy master from France, he gave very glowing words towards your R.N. Kaur. Am I making my point clear? Glowing account of your R.N. Kaur. Come back. There is another chapter called as Human Values, which we will discuss later. But did you understand ethics and human interface? Alright, the last one I have just explained very fast. I have not gone in detail. I will give you the notes. All of you following me? I hope you understand the nature of this course. It's a crash course. The revision is going to be faster. All of you following me? Let's go back to notes now. Let's go back to notes. The return of olive ridley turtles, good. Meghalaya's iconic living roots, good. Heaven if you are here on earth, very nice. Kuvempu you're quoting, because of the reality is different. Everybody, even a, it's good. Yes, Savita, correct. Where have I stopped? I think dimension of ethics. Let's start from there. Just a second. Dimension of ethics. Have I completed consequences? PYQs. So dimensions of ethics, start writing there. Dimensions of ethics. Below that, dimensions of ethics. Dimensions of ethics. Or approach to ethics. Approach to ethics. Guides us in adopting a morally responsible behavior, at all levels of human actions, The major dimensions of ethics include, first one, meta-ethics, hyphen. This dimension of ethics tries to answer the fundamental questions, related to ethics. Example, what is truth? Question mark. Does truth apply to everyone? Does truth apply to everyone? Question mark. Etc. Etc. Second, normative ethics. Normative ethics. Hyphen. It is also called prescriptive ethics. Stop. It fundamentally tries to answer the question. It fundamentally tries to answer the question. Open the inverted commas. How you ought to lead. How you ought to lead a good life. How you ought to lead a good life. Right. Full stop. Continue. Various theories are proposed under normative ethics. Various theories are proposed under normative ethics. Like first one, virtue ethics. Right arrow. Strong character for a good life. Strong character for a good life. Second one, deontological ethics. Hyphen. Fulfilling duties to lead a good life. Fulfilling duties to lead a good life. Third one, teleological ethics. Hyphen. Altruistic activities. So as to have a good life. So as to have a good life. Right. Next. Applied ethics. Hyphen. In this dimension, a particular set of values and principles determine how interaction happens, determines how interaction happens in a given domain, Next, give the heading PYQs. Just a second. First one, with regards to morality of actions, come on. One view is that means is of more paramount importance. One view is that means is of more paramount importance. And the other view, is that ends justify the means. Ends justify the means. Stop. Which view do you think? Is more appropriate? Which view do you think is more appropriate? Question mark. Justify your answers. Justify your answer. Justify your answer. Okay. Go to the introduction part. The above question indicates the timeless debate between Kant's, K-A-N-T apostrophe S, Kant's means is of more importance, view against Bentham's ends justify the means, view. Ends justify the means in evaluating various actions, All right. Now go to the body of the answer. Means are of more paramount importance. Give the heading, means are of more paramount importance. Hyphen. The belief behind it. Hyphen, the belief behind it. Below that, this view holds that some actions remain morally wrong, irrespective of the result they produce, Stop. Thinkers like Gandhi emphasized on this, because first one, it protects human dignity and rights. Second, it prevents exploitation and abuse. Third one, it ensures consistency, and moral integrity. Fourth, it builds trust in institution and individuals. All right. Example, Gandhi insisted that noble ends, such as freedom, could not be achieved, through immoral means, Next, give the second heading. Ends justify the means. Hyphen. This view evaluates actions according to their consequences. Stop. Many support this view. Because first point under it, it allows practical decision making. In emergencies. Second one, it focuses on maximizing welfare and minimizing harm. Third one, it recognizes the complexity of real world situations. Example, during disasters, government may impose restrictions on liberty to save lives. Next, give the heading, the more appropriate view. Question mark. Below that, a rigid adherence to either position can be problematic. First point under that, if only ends matter, comma, corruption, comma, manipulation and oppression can be justified in the name of greater good. Second point. If only means matter, come on, decision makers may become insensitive to urgent consequences and public welfare. Next para. Therefore, the more appropriate view right, just below that, ends are important, but they must be pursued through ethically defensible means. Stop. Example, Nelson Mandela pursued racial justice by emphasizing on reconciliation rather than revenge. Okay. Maybe, full stop, maybe, in exceptional circumstances, in the interest of the public welfare, means may be compromised. Example, COVID-19 lockdown restrictions. Gandhi, right on the conclusion part, Gandhi believed means are ends in the making. Come on. Ethically defensible means create long-lasting impact in the society. Write down the PYQ next. Or else we'll do one thing. We'll go for our lunch and we'll be back here by 3 p.m. All right. Go ahead. Be here by 3 p.m. guys. Thank you.